As pieces of legislation are currently being discussed in Congress, crypto is once again in the news. Crypto awareness and ownership rates have increased to record levels. 40% of American adults now own crypto. Chief Legal Officer at Grayscale Investments, Craig Somm, joins us to talk about a recent survey that found that nearly half of likely American voters believe some of their future investment portfolio will include crypto. So thank you so much for joining us today. So what is crypto and why should I consider adding it to my portfolio?
Yep, David, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm Craig Somm. I'm the Chief Legal Officer at Grayscale Investments. Grayscale is the world's largest crypto asset manager. We're focused on bringing access and exposure to the crypto asset class in the form of traditional investment vehicles. As you mentioned, we recently conducted a survey along with the Harris Poll to find out how are likely American voters thinking about Bitcoin and crypto amidst the upcoming election. We can get into those findings in a bit, but in terms of your question over what is crypto, crypto at its core is a digital asset that allows someone in the world 24/7 along with internet connection. You don't need a bank to do it. That's a very valuable and powerful thing for a lot of folks that are not used to or don't have the modern banking infrastructure. Our investors and it's, likely American voters based on our survey findings are viewing crypto more as an investment as they find things like inflation affecting them. Inflation is the number one concern with this upcoming election. And against that backdrop, something like a Bitcoin or crypto asset that is resistant to inflation because it has a fixed supply is naturally something that a lot of individuals are putting in their investment portfolio as a sort of hedge against inflation. So we very much view it as having a place in investors' portfolios, and the likely American voters that we surveyed in this recent survey are tending to agree with that as well.
Very interesting. So tell us a little bit more about the recent survey and the key takeaways.
Yep. So this was phase 2 of a 3-part study that we started back in November of last year. Phase 2 had 3 key findings that I would like to tell your audience about. One, as I mentioned, is that inflation is the number one concern on likely American voters' minds. And amidst that backdrop, they are increasingly starting to take interest in Bitcoin and crypto. Number 2 is that crypto topic. So there is no one political party that is particularly more interested in it versus the other. Both Democrats and Republicans find interest in crypto. And then number 3 is that likely American voters are increasingly viewing it as more transparent and more trustworthy. That follows the recent approval of Bitcoin ETFs in the US for the first time earlier this year, which we view as a very legitimizing moment because it was the first time that you have Bitcoin being put into a regulated investment vehicle. So for a lot of investors and likely American voters that may have been aware of Bitcoin, but not necessarily were able to invest in it, this opened up the opportunity for them to express that view. So 3 key findings that we found in the survey, and we look forward to phase 3 that we'll be conducting closer to the election in November.
So, how do different generations view crypto? Is there any change by demographic or political party or geography? You were saying before, it seems pretty bipartisan, right?
Yeah, political party is certainly bipartisan. In terms of demographics, as you might expect, younger voters tend to view crypto more favorably than older voters, although there is certainly interest across older voters as well. But we think that makes sense because the younger generations grew up in a world that is digital. And so for them, it's very easy to grasp a digital form of money, and they're able to find value in that. But again, some of the top line numbers showing that nearly half of American voters are taking an interest in crypto, I think is really the key numbers to focus on.
Yeah, I'd agree. And it perfectly makes sense that the younger generation would be more inclined to be interested in crypto. So what's the connection between recent legislation and crypto? How might they affect crypto in the United States, for example?
So we mentioned how crypto is definitely a topic with the upcoming elections. We're also seeing a lot of movement in Congress. Just recently, we had a comprehensive market structure bill focused on crypto make its way through the House with both Republican and Democratic support. That is a bill that focuses on the classification of digital assets, so bringing more clarity to whether the assets should be regulated as commodities or securities. Important for a lot of individuals engaging in the asset class. It also focuses on the intermediaries of the asset class, things like custodians and exchanges and so on. The fact that that has moved from the House to the Senate is a very pivotal moment because we've never seen a bill focused on crypto make its way through any chamber of Congress. So we're looking forward to seeing more progress there. There's another bill making its way through the House as well, focused on stable coins, which is a very prominent use case of crypto. that allows it to be used more as a form of currency or money because it's pegged to the US dollar. So the fact that we're seeing movement in Congress as well just goes to show how seriously this asset class is being taken, and another reason why we think it's on the mind of likely American voters with the upcoming election.
All right, this has been a very interesting interview, Craig. I really appreciate you spending some time. So where can I send our viewers to go for more information? Like, where can I go for more information? My mind's kind of blown here.
You can go to grayscale.com is our website. And for the link directly to the findings of this survey, go to grayscale.com/election.
All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate you spending some of your time this morning. If your mind is blown like mine, you can check out this segment again on FCN Plus.